All right. Welcome to another stream, this time on Tuesday. I stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Welcome, Grease Monkeys. I am the Grease Monkey. You are a Grease Monkey. We are all greasy. That's gross. We're all Grease Monkeys. You know, tinkerers. Tinkerer Monkey doesn't sound so good, okay? So that's why I chose Grease. Also because of the grease pencil, right? So I gotta clean my glasses. But welcome to the stream today. We're going to be modeling this bottle here, and this bottle is from Gravity Rush 2. It's part of one of the side missions. Doesn't matter. I love the artwork. The artwork is inspired by Mobius. I love Mobius. And through extension, we are inspired by Mobius. We will be modeling this using my toon shader that I created. Link is in the description. We'll get to that. And we're also going to be trying to incorporate some grease pencil objects. So hopefully we can get to that. I picked this bottle today. The two streams before, we had a diamond. And then before we had a radio. And if you realize, I'm going less and less complicated. Those last two streams were 4 hours. And I definitely want this to be like a 2-hour stream. I want Tuesdays and Thursdays to be, 2 hours. 4 hours for like a big project. So this particular case, we got a bottle. What's interesting and great about the bottle is that there are different ways to model this bottle. And we're going to explore all the different ways and then live determine which one's better. They'll probably all have their uses. Spoiler alert, they probably all have their uses and they're all fine and good and stuff. But we're going to do it different ways. You know why? Because it's going to be easy to model this bottle. Easy for me, easy for you, easy for everybody out there to do this, right? So I got a chat here. Let's see. Is it possible to trace the image in Blender with the trace to grease pencil? Yes, you could definitely do that. I think there's like an add-on or something like that. I don't like using that method because it's a little there's a lot of cleanup work that I have to do afterwards. But you could definitely use that, and you could definitely find some tutorials on tracing that. But what I want to do here is have a 3D object that looks like a 2D object, so then I could rotate it and move it whichever way. Because if I just trace this with the auto tracer, it's like a piece of paper. Like, I want to be able to move the camera around, do some different stuff. And the only flat things I want for my future projects is going to be like the characters that are going to be hand drawn. Oh my god, my glasses are so dirty. Or stuff like that. But yes, definitely possible. But that's not what we're going to be doing here. What we're doing here is going to be a hybrid between 2D and 3D. Because I want to, everybody who comes into this grease pencil world seems to be coming in from like a 2D artwork and then trying to get into 3D. Where I'm a 3D artist getting into 2D. So I definitely want to achieve demystify some of this 3D stuff so you can utilize it in your 3D artwork. All right. Do you have some small pointers on the trace method? I do not. I don't use the trace method. I've only used it a couple times, and I didn't enjoy it. So maybe I'll put it into my list. Actually, I'll write it down right now. I'll put it on my list. I'm maybe making a quick tutorial on making a tutorial about the tracing function in Blender. Trace function in Blender. All right, I've made a note. I have a roadmap that's going to be coming out soon. But what's going to happen on this channel. But as for this stream, I won't be getting into the trace, unfortunately. But maybe in the future, I'll make a tutorial. Mr. Debonde. Debonde. Can I call you D? Is D a good good way? Good way to name? Thanks, that's super useful. Yes, I'll make the tutorial. I'm glad you commented. The more people comment, the better for me. Give me ideas. The worst that I'll say is no. But it's possible I'll put it on a list. I have a day job. And once this becomes my full time, it'll be easier to crank out these tutorials. Okay, so here we go. We got this bottle. Gravity Rush 2. We're using the Toon Shader. Since the bottle is so easy to model, we're going to do it in different ways. And we'll do it in different ways because I want this to be a 2-hour stream, but modeling a bottle will be pretty easy. So let's just start. So first thing I want to do, and I should just save it, but you know, there's always people who are watching for the first time. So it's always nice to do kind of like a ritual here. So the first thing I want to do is set up a background, and the background I want it to be a color. So let's open up, oopsies. Let me put my screencast keys first. There it is. Also, why is this always changing? There it is, and mouse size. There you go. There's my screencast keys. You can see that I'm going. Okay, so first thing I want to do is set up the background, right? And the background is, I always want to set up a gradient. So I'm going to open up another window here. Click on the top left, and click on the shader editor. This editor is where all the shading happens, whether it be on your objects or the world around it. So we could change the mode here to world, and here we are, and this is our background. You can see on the left side here that I changed the color, changed the background. Easy stuff, right? I like it a lot. I want it to be this color. Obviously you could just click on here, click the little eyedropper, click that. We have the pink background, but I like to add a little bit of panache to my backgrounds. I like it to be a gradient in the background. So let's set up a gradient. So to do that, first I'm going to do is I'm going to put a texture, and the texture is called gradient. Look at that, already named. Something else to control the colors of this gradient, because right now this is just black and white, 0 to 1. So if I connect that in here, you can see that it's just black, right? But if we go and we turn around, you can see that it's white. It's white on the side. So the gradient's going up and down, or I should say left to right, black to white on the left. The first thing I want to do is fix the how this looks, right? So what I want to do is make sure you have the Node Wrangler add-on activated. I think it comes activated already, but you go to the preferences, go to Node Wrangler, make sure that's activated, because what we're going to do is click on the gradient texture, hit Control T. Boom, that sets up our mapping. So now that we have the mapping set up, now we can have this rotation here where we can rotate this gradient. So let's rotate it on, I believe it's the Y, and it's the Y because you can see right now, and this may be confusing later because it'll change, but see this green here, that's this green line, right? So that's the Y axis like you see here, and then that's why you rotate this. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees. So let me rotate it 90 degrees. Looky there, 90 degrees, and now we have that looking good, right? Now the second thing we want to do is, we can't see it here. Obviously our camera is kind of like an upwards angle. Let's see if we can see it here. You can see our camera is kind of like an upwards angle, or downwards angle I should say. So let me reset some stuff here. I'm gonna hit Alt G and R. What that does is it puts it right in the center, and resets everything. So holding Alt and hitting GRS resets the rotation, scale, or position. So let's move this. Hit G, hit Y on the Y axis, and then let's rotate on the X axis 90 degrees. There we go. Now we're looking at it head on, and you can see it right there, head on. Very cool stuff. So then the next thing we want to do is I want to put the gradient to start from the bottom of the scene all the way to the top. We'll bring it down. Look at this. Oh, is it Y? No, it's the X. So we'll hold Shift. I'm gonna bring it down until I barely see how there's a black line here. We're gonna barely bring it to the top. There. Now I got a gradient looking good. Now I want to change this black and this white to be two different colors. So with that, you do a color ramp. Boom, boom, color ramp. Put it right in the center. Nothing has changed because this is showing everything that's black is black, everything that's white is white, but that's not what I want. So I want this white to be this pink color. You can see the bottom is still black. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this color. So put your mouse over the color, hit Control C, click on the black, hit Control V. Now we got the same color. But what I want to do here is I want to change the hue. And you can see it's turning green and stuff. I just want to change it to whatever I think looks good. Since this is the green, it's going to be a green bottle. Let's bring it over to the blue side. You can see this little white dot here moving. We'll bring it over to the blue. Maybe purple side. When I mean blue, I mean cooler. So that's red, so we'll bring it over to the purple a little bit. There it is. And I think that's set. So it's very subtle, but I like to have a gradient here. The next thing I want to set up is this cube is being affected by the color around, right? So you can see that this is a pink color. And I want the background to be separate from the foreground. I want to be able to decide all my colors. So we're going to add in a mix shader here. So hit mix shader. And we're going to add in the background to the bottom one. And then we're going to add in an input light paths right here. And then just put the first one camera rate into the factor. Connect this to the end. Now the background is separate from the foreground, right? So, Jiraj, good to see ya. So, you can see that now this object is not being affected by the background. If we connect just the background again, you can see that if I make it brighter, the white cube goes away. If I make it darker, the cube is dark in the darkness. Also, there's a light here. So, the reason it's not pitch black is because there's a light. We'll hit X. There we go. And then, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna do it this way. We're just gonna bring the factor. There we go. Bring it 1. There it is. So the cube is black because it's being affected by no lights, not even the background. So let me set up a sun lamp. Oopsies. Sun. There we go. I'm gonna bring it up. Here we go. And I'm also going to rotate it. There we go. This is just for me for later. Alright, so Gerard says, long time no see. At least I didn't show up for a while. At least I didn't show up for a while. Or I'm sorry I didn't show up for a while. It's no problem, Gerard. Aren't you going to school? Aren't you like finishing your animation degree? You are probably a very busy person. Plus life is happening, I assume, for you. It's no problem at all. I think it's great that you stopped by at all. Okay, cool. So we have the background set up. And we're good there. Okay, cool. So let's bring this down and let's start building out this bottle. And we're going to do it a couple different ways. So let's figure out all the different ways we could do this, right? So let's do a simple one, right? We could do, we can add in a mesh, and let me make a new collection for this. I'm going to call it bottles. Okay, we'll hit Shift A. Go to mesh, and we'll do it the just box modeling way. What we could do is we could go to cylinder. So we have the cylinder going on here. This looks like it's symmetrical all the way around, and I'm gonna bring it up. So I'm gonna hit G1, so it's laying flat. You can see it's right flat on the x-axis. I'm also gonna right-click it, hit set origin to 3D cursor. Now it's at the bottom. Now when it rotates from the bottom. All right, so there we go. Boom. All right, and then we go into edit mode. We'll hit 3. We'll click on the top. We hit G at the bottom, and then we can start building this out, right? So what I'm going to be doing is a series of the letter I, right? Insets and E's for extrude. That's what I'm going to be pressing. So we could go to the side here, hit I, extrude, hit extrude again. Now here's the thickest part, right? Then extrude, thicker part, or smaller part, extrude again, make it thinner. And this is like a simple, not a simpler way, but one way of doing this, right? And then obviously it looks a little chonky, so you can add in a modifier here, right? Add in a subsurface division, right click and hit shade smooth. All right, you can see that it's starting to shape up to look something similar on this. Jiraj, I'm working on making a bottle. For the last 2 streams, I've been modeling things after the Gravity Rush 2 game art. And they've been 4-hour streams, so we're just modeling a bottle in different ways, and then we're going to use the Toon shader to figure out how to make it look as close to this as possible. I don't think we're going to get it right there, but we'll get it pretty close. And right now we're going through all the ways to model a bottle. So yeah, so you can do the box modeling way, and you may like this way, because now we can go back, go to line mode. We can hit G twice, and let's look at it up here. Let me move the camera up. just so we can see this. I'm also going to bring the camera, put it like at 100 millimeters, and bring it further back. There we go. There we go. So we are working. Okay, so we got the bottle, and then yeah, so you have the subsurface division. You right click it, hit shade smooth, and then this is where you could start messing with these lines here. You can make this thicker, right? So we're just looking. I'm looking at the left side here, right? I'm gonna hit at another subdivision there. Boom. We have this line. We'll hit G twice. Also, it may be hard to see my screencast key, so let's make it a color that we could see. Maybe green. Maybe add a background. I don't know if that helps. Let me know what screencast keys way you prefer. Let's add in shadow at least, though. Okay. Okay, so yeah, you can hit S, and I'm just looking at the right side here. You can see that this has a little flares out a little bit, right? So I'm gonna hit G here. Grab. You know, goes in. Let's get the top bottle here, right? Easy, easy, easy. We'll go to face mode again. We'll select the top. We'll bring it in, right? See how it rounds at the top? So to fix that, you can just hit Control R, do a loop cut, and you can do a loop cut all the way to the top here. There it is. Now we're in face mode again. We will, I'm gonna hit E, right click to cancel, right? And it'll still have the face, hit S, kind of flares it out. You know, we'll give it a little top here, right? And then what we'll do is we will hit I again. We're gonna make the hole now. Hit E, and then we can start getting the lip here. Let me bring in the camera a little further back, a little further up. There you go. Okay, so there you go. You know, and this is one way of doing it. And then, you know, for the sake of this, on the modifiers, this is option here. This says on cage. Instead of showing me the original cage or the original mesh, you can see it on the outside. It'll just show me the one that it has, right? So there it is. Sometimes this is a good way of doing this, turning on this option, because then you can select exactly what you want to take off. So like I want to take off this face, so we'll hit the face mode there. If I do a loop cut, we'll do a loop cut there, right? We can even do a loop cut down the middle here, right? And then scale it out so we can make it like a rounded edge. You can see it's still not exactly like it, but you know, it's close. I think I have too many cuts here. See these loops? I have 2 of them. You can easily delete them by alt-clicking one, hitting X, dissolve edges. Now I got one. There it is. And then we can just keep tweaking here, right? So hit G. We got that. Maybe this is a little bigger. This one's a little bigger. Boom. All right. So I'm going to go into this solid view here, so I could actually see what I'm doing here. That shading was getting to me. All right. So this is one way of modeling a bottle, right? So it's good. It's easy. You can model it out. Fine and dandy. And then to finish it off, let's see if I can. What you could do is you can go and do a solidify. Boom, solidify. It adds thickness to it. You can add in thickness on the outside. There you go. That'll give it some dimension. And yeah, and also this flat part here at the bottom. Let me take this off. And let me turn this off. Okay, this flat part at the bottom, to fix this, you can click on that face, and you can hit X and delete face. Now you're left with an open bottom. Now go to line mode, hit 2, or press here at the top, 2. Hold Alt, select that loop. You can right click and hit Control F and do grid fill. Add in the grid. And that gives you a better, more, like, it doesn't have all those errors that I had before. It looked a little wonky before, let's just say. And then you can even add, and it's a nice little, thing going on here. What you can also do is you can bring back that face. You can hit inset inset it in, then delete the face, then select the loop, then Control F, then grid fill. Now you have control over adding some more loop cuts here, so you can make that edge real sharp. See, it's catching some light there, and it doesn't look terrible, And also you can select the bottom half here. So let's say you want to select just this circle grid. Hold Alt, select the edge there, select the edge here, and you have to do all 4 sides. There's a special select, right? Go to select loop, and go to select inner region. That'll select the inside, and then you can extrude this in if you want. Shrink it down, bring it up, and then you have, some bottles have like that on the inside and stuff. Great. So that's bottle 1, right? Bottle.001, which is a neat way to model a bottle. But there are different ways to do this, right? We can also do it a way that's a little bit more customizable. We can obviously do it in geometry nodes and stuff, but we're not going to be getting into geometry nodes for a while. I am still in the process of learning that method. So let me make the second one. So let me change some view settings here for myself. There we go. All right, so let's make this invisible. And let's do it a different way. All right, so this way is an interesting way. So what you can do is you can make a, I'm pretty sure it's make a curve. We're going to do I've actually been playing with geometry nodes a bit recently. Nice, me too. I'm always playing with geometry nodes. But it is a process to learn, and I'm trying to learn it to the capacity to be able to teach it. It's not easy for me to teach because there's a lot that you have to learn before you start. Like there's a lot of things you have to understand to really understand. Anyway, that's awesome. Specifically with new extrude and merge by distance nodes. Nice. That probably makes some excellent effects. All right, so we're gonna do this with a curve. So let's do a path. Let's do a path. Here's our line. Actually, no, we're not gonna do this with a curve. We're gonna do this with a. Let's do it a couple different ways. Let's do a NURB curve, and you can see the NURB curve is right here. You can see that it doesn't go all the way. Let me make sure. Right now I'm contemplating if this should be the best way. All right, let's not do NURB curve yet. Ferd, good to see you. All right, go to curve, do a Bezier curve. There we go. And then under these what is it called? Viewport settings. I'm gonna put on the normals, and I can see that the line goes from this point to this point. You can see the arrows are pointing. And I'm gonna do a couple things here. First, I'm going to select this point and go into the item menu here, put it at 0. I'm gonna put this point, put it at 0, and then I'm gonna bring it up on the Z axis. There it is. Now we got it upwards, right? Another thing I want to do is I'm gonna select both points, hit V, and put the set handles to automatic. That makes them straight. There we go. And now we have our mode here, right? Or the mode that we want to be in. So right now we just have this curve that's moving out, but we're going to be using a modifier to do this correctly. So we'll go to modifier, and then there's a modifier called, let it be here, screw. So there it is. So there's our screw modifier. And now what it does is, and we can see it here, it gives this dimension by using that line and making a circle. So when something's symmetrical all the way around, using the screw modifier is a neat way. You can also do stuff where you can like actually make it a screw, like you can bring it up, right? And just keep adding, do some iterations on it, and you can see you have like this neat spiral thing that you could potentially use in something. Many different things you could do with this screw modifier, but we're gonna bring it back. Let's take it off and put it back on screw. And now, all right. And now we could do is we can adjust this line to work for the shape that we want. So to make this easier, let's see if you can barely see these dots here. I wonder, hold on, let me see if I can change the theme settings here for you to be able to see these curves. Let's see. Cameras, edges, vector handles, camera path. Is it called curves? Hold on, we'll find it. I was also trying to, I'm like getting all quiet here. I was trying to, is it this one? It is not that one. Is it this one? There it is. So just to see this line here, I'm adding in the wire edit here, so you can see the line, the lines across it. Okay, cool. We'll change that back later. Anyway, so here we are. We have our lines, and this is a different way of doing this because we can now select both of those dots, right-click, subdivide, and we can just start adding points to where we want it, right? So let's set up the bottle. I'm going to move this on the X. Right? Select the line, rotate it. There we go. Move it. All right, let's see if we can now model this out to make sense. There we go. We're going to add in another point here. So we'll subdivide it between those points. We'll bring it in. There we go. Now, if I want to add in another point, what you could do is you can control click and right click. That's what it was. Oops. So click the last point, control click, right click, and then you can add in another point there. Which, you know, is another fun way to make this, because then you can really just make a lot of different bottles. So if you're trying to make a lot of different bottles, this may be the better method, because then you could just easily copy paste this, move a couple things around there, and move on with your day. And Ferd, I don't know if you heard me. Hello. I'm glad to see you here. All right, so this is a nice way. You can also do this not with curves. You could do it with a mesh itself, with like edges and stuff. And this is an interesting way to make it. You know, you could really get here, make a perfume bottle, make it look all fancy. What gets complicated are these handles. So I'm gonna hit vector on that one. And there's a little bit more options, but I can understand if it feels a little bit more complicated. So yes, there it is. Let's try and actually replicate this bottle. There we go. I'm changing these points to vector, and I'm changing different ones to vector. Every point is different. So this one's set to vector. And what that means is I can grab this point and really like control one side of it. right? So the other handle isn't being affected. You know what I mean? I can like add in a little flop here. That's cool. There we go. This looks like it's too tall. So let me put in aligned. Let's make it bigger. And honestly, this is feeling more complicated, right? So this is the second method of doing this. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this bottle again. I'm going to duplicate this. Now we're on 3. And I'm going to go into edit mode, erase all this. What I can also do is I can go into this pencil mode, the draw mode. And I can, with the screw modifier already attached, I can then draw out the shape. Let's see if it'll work. I'm doing this with a mouse, so it's gonna look ugly. There we go. Barely, right? All right, let's try it again. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. So if I do the shape, right? Oh my God, it's so... There it is. So this is an interesting way also to make these bottles, right? This gives you a little bit more control. If you have a tablet, it becomes easier to then make these shapes, right? You can do something like that. You got a vase over here. You got to make sure to draw a line, draw like that, start from the outside, get it in, and you can really have fun trying to make these bottles, right? You have some options on these draw tools. I really don't know what they do. I've never used it. So I wonder if, what's it say? Allow deviations, a smoother, less precise line. So let's put this to 1. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, that's a super precise line. I get it now. And then if I put it to 100 pixels, it is so smooth. Look at that. That's not what I drew. But it tries to smooth it out for you, which is pretty cool. So if we just set this down to where it was, let's 8 or 10, you can really make a neat thing. Okay. So that is another way. So this, you could draw it on, you can use the Bezier lines, or you can use the box model, and this is all using the screw modifier, which is pretty handy in situations, once again, where the entire thing is symmetrical all the way around, which are basically cups and bottles and stuff like that. So far what I like the box modeling one the most. This was a lot of more fun to make, even though it's you kind of get locked into what this looks like. Well, I guess you can edit it. Hold on. There you go. You can edit it. But I like the box modeling the best, so we may keep that one. And let me just do a few adjustments here. All I'm doing is hitting Alt-G, grabbing it all the way to the top, Alt-G to grab the line, scaling it in. I'm just slowly tweaking this whole thing here. All right, so see how fast that was? What are we? 38 minutes in. We already made the bottle. We did the hardest part, I think. I'm going to dissolve this line here. So dissolve edge. There it is. I don't think we need both of those edges. The less edges that you can do is probably the better. You know, we can probably set another one here. Scale this out. There we go. I think, let me see this at a different angle here. It's going to be hard for me to get it precise. And plus, we're not here to get it precise. We're not here for the precision. We're here to make it look the color and all that. So as for the bottle shape, I could probably call this good for now. If anything, I can adjust it later. So I'm going to save. And let's set up the other stuff, which is much easier stuff. So for this one, for the cork, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the edge rim there, and I'm going to hit Control F and do a grid fill. It's connected to this, but I don't want to connect it, so hit, I think, V. No. Which one is to rip? Hold on. Oh, I have to do the edges. So I'm going to go to edge mode. Let me select the edges here. There it is. Now V. Okay, cool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit L. That selects as one piece. I'm going to hit P, separate selection. I'm also going to make a collection of scraps because we're not going to use these other bottles. But we want to keep them. All right. So now that what we see here is we have this top that I kind of like made the exact size of the bottle opening, and have it separated, and it has a subdivision which I guess I want to keep, right? Do I want to keep it? Let's see. Nah, it's fine. We put off the subdivision. All right, now that we have this separate, we'll call this bottle cork. Gotta name your layers. Never forget. Bottle cork .000. And we'll call this the bottle .000. Okay, cork. Okay, so in the cork, in edit mode, all I'm gonna do is extrude it out. So let's do that, but I also want to do some cleanup work here. I want this to look very cluttered here. Let me take that off. Okay, so if we hit E, there it is. There's our cork. Looking great. Obviously, it's a little bigger at the top here. And if we put the see-throughness, this, what's it called, X-ray, I can see through it. And then I can select the faces on the bottom. And obviously it's a little hard to select each and every one of those faces because it's grid fill. So what you could do is you could select one of the faces facing down, hit Shift G, and click on normals. And that'll select every face that has the same normal. Normal just means the direction the face is looking at, which they're all at the bottom. All right, so it looks like it goes all the way down, and then I'm looking up here now, and it just make it a little thinner. There it is. Make the X-ray go away. Bring it down. Still intersecting there. So let me go. Make this a little thinner. No more intersection. There we go. So one thing I want to do is I want to right click, hit smooth on that, but I also want to put the normals to auto shade smooth, so that makes it a hard edge there. And then we can start messing with this a little bit later. Okay, cool. So that's how you make the cork. Boom, easy peasy. So the next thing I want to do is I want to make this like ropey thing and then the tag, which all is, relatively easy. So to make the thing go perfectly around this neck, what I'm going to do is I'm going to disable. Oh no, hold on. I'm going to select the cork neck, so the line that it makes. So I'm taking off the modifier so it looks all blocky, because that's the subsurface that's happening here. See? Boom boom. So I'm selecting the neck portion of it, hitting Control D. Now I have the line. Now what I'm going to do is hit P by selection. So now when we go out of edit mode and we disable we have the bottle, we have the cork, but then we have this line, which is what we want. So let's look at this line. And let's go into the point mode. We can see all the points are there. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to apply the subdivision modifier. You can just do that by clicking here, click apply, or Control A. You can also do it by right clicking, hit convert to mesh. Even though it already is a mesh, it'll apply the modifiers in the correct order. So this looks pretty intense. There's a lot of points here. I'm going to clean up some of these points, so I'm going to select all the points in point mode, in edit mode, I mean. And I'm going to hit checker deselect. So I'm going to it basically selects every other point. I'm going to hit X, dissolve vertices. And I just erased half those points. Maybe I can do it again. Maybe I can get away with it. Select, checker deselect, and I'm going to hit dissolve vertices. Look, boom. I bet if you do it one more time, it'll look ugly. So we'll select all. We'll try it. Select, checker deselect, X, dissolve vertices. There, it lost some resolution there. Which could suck. But you know what? We're going to keep it. Because you know what we're going to do is we're going to right click on this. Right now it's a mesh, right? So, you know, polys. We're going to right click, hit convert to curve. And now we have this as a curve. Now we can have all the options of a curve. So we can add some depth to this. Right click, hit smooth. Oh no, wait. Is it up here? It's right here, right? Shade smooth. There it is. There's our shade smooth. I'm going to hit V and do automatic. Is it vector? Honestly, I did this like a long way. But this is just to show you that you can do this. Because you don't have to do it this way. Let's do it the easier way. So the easier way is, I'm going to call this bottle rope twine. We'll call it twine. Twine that 000. Okay. Cool. Okay, so we got this twine. You know, we'll bring back the bottle. You see the twine's there. It's all good. But it's a little chonky, and I don't like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the cursor to where it is right now. Because I have this twine selected. If you hit Shift S, go to cursor to selected. You can't see my cursor, can you? Sorry, go to edit mode. Select all your points. Hit Control S, cursor to selected. It'll bring the cursor right there. And we could move away this twine. We'll put it in scraps. Make it go away. And I moved the cursor there because wherever the cursor is where things show up when you call upon them. So if I summon a curve circle, see, it appears right there. So here's our curved circle, looking beautiful. Now we can just add in the extrude. Nope, that's not what it was. The depth, and we're getting our ribbon. There it is, and we'll get it real close. We'll see how thick it is. There we go. Boom. Obviously, it looks like it's part of the bottle here, but we'll make do. So this thing looks like it has like a knot, like it goes around. It does a knot. It does a thing. So there are a couple things to explore for anybody out there. If you go to edit, go to preferences, go to add-ons, type in extra up here, and make sure that you have extra curve, add curve, extra objects here, because there's a lot of curves that you can add here. Let me disable some of this stuff here. And let me put this in the right place. Okay, so if I go into our bottle, let's make this invisible. If you go to curves, you'll see you have all these extra curves, and sometimes there may be a curve that you want or need. You could do arcs, or you could do like half of a circle instead of like a full circle, polygons, points, rhombus, segments, trapezoids. There's also these things called knots. So, you know, sometimes if you need like a braided knot or something like that, like if it needs to look like a rope, you could do braided knot. And you can see once the braided knot comes in, you can select the amount of strands, select the radius, you know, and you know, just mess with stuff here. Because then when you add in the thickness, you can get some thickness in there, and you can have something look more like a rope being wrapped around. So that's a way to also do this. Obviously, this is not the issue here. We have this, but it's just something to think about that you have an option to do that. So let me erase everything here. Bring everything back. And let's keep it going. All right, so we're here, and now I gotta figure out a way to make this look like a knot. Let's see. Does that even work? Let's see. Like, this could work in a pinch, right? Like, and I'll tell you what I did right now. I just want to make sure it kind of works. Okay, it kind of works. Kind of has the thing going on. So let me explain to you what I did. So on our circle curve, George says, by the way, Grease Monkey, I can't remember, is there a torus mesh primitive node in geometry nodes? No, I think you have to use a curved circle and then use a like the bevel of it and use a circle on that, and then that's how you would make the torus and stuff. So let me explain this, and then I'll do a little sidetrack and I'll show you how to do that. So I have my curved circle here, and we want to make it look like a knot. So I'm gonna look at it from the front here. We're gonna select this point, and all I did was I hit E to extrude. That extrudes it out. And then I select the point that it came from, hit E again, and you know, I'm just hoping and praying it looks right. It doesn't look right. It looked right before, right? So I'm gonna hit E and then hit E again. So 2 E's made it look like what it needed. This is kind of janky, but I guess in a pinch it could work. So right now I have them here. They're good. They look like realistic, I guess. We can hit this to automatic by hitting V. We're changing the vectors here. The handle types, I should say. I'm going to shrink them down. And I think you can even go into the tool here and do a tilt. Nope, that doesn't work. Make them thicker. But this is how this is working, right? So not really the coolest method, but it definitely does work. So that's good. There's something I want to see here, and it looks like a little knot there. And it's gonna work for my purposes. But what I want is also to control this NURB here. So I'm going to, or this point here. So I'm going to take off the depth, and I'm going to select the point at the end and the points in the middle here, and I'm going to hit right click, subdivide, and let's see if that ruined anything. Oh, it didn't. So now I have these 2 points. I can control things. Very good. There it is. Right click. So like I said, it's a very weird way of doing this, but it's gonna work for me. Keeps my stream shorter. There we go. And then I can always set these to be the handle type automatic, so they're smoother. And then now I have these lines here, and that works out. There it is. I can also make all these thinner, right? What if I need them thinner? You could select all the points, go into the end panel, go to radius, and then make them thinner here. Or we can make them all thinner, honestly. Let's see about making them all thinner. It starts cutting into the bottle, so that's when I have to start sizing things up here. There it is. Okay, And then we have the 1 point here where we can rotate whichever way to our liking. And we can also scale down, scale up, and things like that. Okay, so boom. What is this? We're an hour in, and we got the model down. Everything else is going to be probably with shaders. I'm gonna make this tag here, attach it in, and then continue. But before we make the tag, Jiraj asked a question. So if anybody has a question, please ask questions. The live streams are for detours. I know that we're doing a bottle here, but the live streams are for detours. So real quick. I'm going to make a new scene. I got my old scene here. There it is. I'll call this live stream scene. I'm going to save it. I'm going to go back to this scene 1. We're going to call it chat, because that's what this is coming from. This is for you guys. Okay, so let's see about the torus in geometry nodes. So let's add in an object. We're going to add in geometry nodes by clicking. I'm going to click up here to geometry nodes. That sets up our windows to be correct. Click to the object, add in geometry nodes. We're going to take this off. This is basically the cube, right? Whatever's in here that's coming in. And if I remember correctly, and this may be wrong, you have to do a curve primitive and curve circle, right? So we'll put that in there. There it is. And then what is it? Curve set. Curve. And this is why I don't do this live. Curve points. Curve to mesh. Curve length. Position. Tilts. Handle. George, if you figure this out, we got this. Hold on. It's curve. It's not the word profile, right? Is it profile? Radius? Set curve radius? Is that what that is? Anyway, we're gonna do another curve. Oh man, is it radius? It's not radius. I thought I had this for you, Ferd. Hold on. We got this. We just have to look through the stuff and think. It is to set the thickness of the curve. If somebody in chat who does geometry knows this. Fillet curve, or sample curve, curve sample, trim curves. Endpoint. Handle position. Handle type. All right, I'm going to open up one of my old projects. Let's save this real quick. A bit of a detour. But now this is driving me crazy. Isn't curved to mesh nodes? Yeah, but you have to add the thickness to it. Hold on, I have it here somewhere. It's one of my lightning ones. 3. Oh. 2. Nope. Okay. Yeah, it is. We're going to put curved circle. You're right. It is curved to mesh. You're absolutely right. I am an idiot. So you already know the answer. Oh my god, it is curve and then curve to mesh. We connect that. We connect the curve. For the curve profile, we duplicate it. We add the curve to profile. There's our torus. Then we put the thickness down, and that is how you would make your torus with the different thicknesses and stuff like that. So there isn't a curve primitive from my understanding, right? Is there? There's not, right? Curve primitive, mesh, primitives. Yeah, there's not. I think this is the way that you would have to do it, Jiraj. Hopefully that helps. Okay, so now let's make this tag here. And this it's easy to make this tag. So we're gonna make a plane. Let's bring it out to the side. We're gonna look at it from above. In this plane, we're gonna go to line mode and edit mode. Hit E to extrude on the Y. We'll just give it some rectangular shape. Then we'll hit E to extrude on the Y, and then we'll just shrink it down, and then realize that I probably don't need this line. Dissolve edge. Okay, so let's now fiddle around with this until we have the right shape. Looks like it's pretty small here, but pretty close, like this. We're just selecting the lines, stretching them out. There we go. All right, so then this is a fancy trick here. So we want to have this circle here, and we want it in our mesh, and we want it to look nice. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to face mode, select the face. Also, right now my lines are green. I thought they were easier to see. They're actually a little bit harder to see for me. So let's go into themes, viewport settings, change the wire. What if we change them to white? No, what if we change them to, what if we change them? Let's change them to purple. Alright, I was trying to make them thicker too, but I guess I can't. Vertex size. We can make the vertices pretty big, but we can't make, because I thought it was outline here. Alright, they're purple. We'll keep changing them until we find a color that works. Alright, so an interesting way to make this hole here, right, would be to hit Control F and do poke face. And that'll try to triangulate a middle point between all the vertices within this face, right? So there we go. We poke the face. We're going to move the point to roughly where that thing is, right there. Then we're going to do a vertex bevel, right? So usually when you bevel an edge, and just for a quick demonstration, usually when you bevel you bevel an edge, right? So you'll get an edge, you'll select the edge, you hit Control B and you bevel it, and that's what you do, right? But when you go to vertex mode, right, you have the vertex here, and you hit the same thing. What is it? Control B. It doesn't do that. There's actually a different option. I think it should be the same option. It's called vertex bevel, right? And vertex bevel is a different shortcut and a different place in, hold on, let me erase this. In the options, I think it's Control V. It should be here. Extrude vertices, new vertices, rip vertices. See, and it's not even in the right menu. It should where vertex bevel should be is in this menu, in the Control V menu. Just so you understand, so Control V, when you hit Control, you're opening up the menu for it. So Control F is like the faces, right? So Control F brings you the stuff that you could do to the faces. Control V gives you all the options that you can do to the vertices. See, these are all vertices related. And then, what is it? Edge. Control E gives you the menu for all the edge options. Right here is like all the options that you can have for edges. See, we even have bevel edges here. right? But when we hit Control V, oh, there it is. It's the third option. So bevel vertices. What this does is um it bevels it, so it kind of like makes a hole here, right? Which is pretty cool, right? So there it is. So right now it's a square, and we're up in the top view, and it's looking dandy. It's looking good. We're gonna move it down on the Y, right? And we want this to look like a circle. So there's a couple things I need to do to make this a circle. First, I need to cut it down the middle because we want vertices on every side. So we want 3 vertices on every side. So we got one on the top and the bottom, and we'll cut it across there, right? Cool. So now we got to select all these all around. And there's an option called, let's see what it's called. To sphere, right? It's Shift Alt S, right? And it's under this mesh menu, which I'm not sure. Is there an easy way to call this? It's not Control M, is it? It definitely is not. Okay, under mesh, there should be something that says to sphere. I never use it through this menu. Transform. To sphere. Here it is. And you also have a lot of other options. Shear. You can bend them, pull. This is actually really great if you didn't know that was there. It's not in this menu, is it? Smooth, edge smooth. I wish it was just an easier way to get to it if it was anywhere. Anyway, so it's what was it again? Control Shift S. Control Alt S. Control Alt S. To sphere. So when I have all these points selected in a circle, and I hit Control Alt S, boom, it circles them. Look at that. That's exactly what we need. A circle. So we're going to select the middle, bring it down on the Y, scale it down still. There it is. And we're going to erase the faces on here. So let's go to face mode, select the faces, and hit faces. And now we have our tag. We have our hole. And this tries to make a circle as best it can. And it's looking pretty good. So let me call this what it is, tag.000. Beautiful. And let me give it some thickness. So let's go to solidify. There it is. And there's something I want to do also. I want to put the origin, which is where it rotates from, this little dot here. You see it rotates from there. I want to put it in the center here. So to do that, I'm going to select all these points here. Now that all selected, hit Control S, cursor to selected. That puts the cursor in the middle of everything that's selected. Go back to object mode by hitting tab, right click, set origin to 3D cursor. There it is. Now, this is going to come into play later, but it just makes it easier to handle when it rotates in a place that you want. All right, there's one other thing that I want here. Another thing that I want is, can I bend this? So this is why I put that origin there, because I'm hoping this is what's going to work. If I go to simple deform, you see that it bends in a bad way. So let's try Y. Let's try Z. It's not bending the way that I expect it to. I want it to bend the other way. Oh no, that was twist. Okay, let's go to bend. Alright, it's bending all sorts the wrong way. Look at that. That's not the right bend. That's not the right bend. This isn't the right bend. Right? Oh, actually, this is the right bend. It's Y. The issue is, let's see. Is it because I don't have... I'm going to do a loop cut. I'm going to do 4 of them here. And I'm going to do the same over... Oops, not 1. 4 of them here. Let's see if this gives me the correct bend. And this may not even work, guys. I just wanted some options here. It's not working. So another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select everything, rotate on the y-axis so it's sideways. Now let's try the bend. This looks better. We're going to hit shade smooth and make sure that this is turned on. The normals. So I like this bend. You know, it bends the correct way. This is definitely not a bend that we want here. Maybe a lattice would work. That's an excellent point and an excellent thing to show. So I'll finish doing this way. I'll duplicate it and then I'll show the lattice way for people out there. Okay, so I think this works too. What I need to do is add in some extra. Right now it has a bunch of vertices going down, or I don't know, horizontal. We're going to add in a bunch this way. There it is. Now they're all basically squares. Now if I move it to the Z, or no, the Y. Guess not. Never mind. I guess this works pretty okay. Right? So let's duplicate this. Let's bring this one down to scraps. We're never going to see it again, but we like to keep them. Let's do what you said. So let's take away the modifiers. And actually, I've never... Oh, let's do at least the solidify. Okay, so I have not used a lattice modifier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wing this. And Jiraj, if you have any guidance as I'm stumbling through this, please let me know. We're going to hit Shift A. We're going to create a lattice here. And if I remember correctly, let me take away these bottles. No, we're gonna figure it out. Okay, so we have the lattice. And once the lattice is here, we're going to make the lattice, if I remember correctly, encompass the entire thing here. So let's... Oh, sorry. I got a little quiet because I thought maybe there would be an automatic option in some menus here. Anyway, so if I remember correctly, yeah, we got to get the lattice and we got to scale it up to the correct size here. So let's scale it up on the Y. Let's scale it up on the Z. There it is. Let's scale it in the X. There it is. Looking good. In the lattice options, once you click the lattice, there's a resolution you could do it by. So I'm going to add in to 3x3x3. Maybe more. Maybe like 4 on the Y. On the first one, 2. All right. So we'll do 2, 4, 4. We want to keep it as simple as possible. Okay. So now choose the tag, go to modifiers, and go to deform lattice. Select the object, which is the object itself. Oh no, which is the lattice that we're using. So click on the lattice. Okay, and I think we're all set here, right? So if I go here and I move this, yes, it moves the point to what I need it to be. Great. So actually, we might simplify this. So let's go back to our lattice and do 2x3x3. Can we do 1? Let's do 2. Let's do 2 for now. We'll go to our lattice. And now we can control this. But what's interesting is that I can control this one this way and then this one this way. So it kind of puffs it out. So actually, let's do 1 by 3 by 3. But then under the options here, object properties, go to visibility. Viewport display and put in front. So we always see the points. So we can select them wherever we want. Now this should work relatively how I expect it to work. There it is. And I think that's is a pretty fun way to control this, right? So we could just select the bottom 3, you know, and add some stuff to it. And then if I remember correctly, if I move the object, the lattice is to stay with it. So let's make sure that the lattice is parented to the object. So let's do Control P, keep transforms, and let's make sure everything still works. All right, so if I move this, okay, this works. Okay. Cool. I think that's good, Jarash. Thanks for the suggestion. It's also a fun way to use lattices, an easy way. I think if you put the lattice modifier before the solidify, it should remove the puffing. Let's do that too. Drag and drop. Go to edit. Yeah, it does remove the puffing. That looks a lot better. It looks a little weird at the top here, and that's only because this doesn't have a lot of cuts in it. But we could definitely add some cuts if we wanted to. So let's do some loop cuts here. We'll do 2. Just adding some extra dimension on there. Okay, and I think we're pretty much set. Let's bring back our bottles and all that stuff. And let's go, because the next hour I want to spend on the shader, and I'm hopefully the everything will look good. All right, so let's remember we put the origin right at the center of the hole, so this is easy to move around. We're going to use our side views to match them up. So this is the left view, and then the right view right here. Boom. Let's do an above view right there, and I think we've targeted it pretty well. All right, so we can rotate this. I'm going to make it much smaller, and I'm also going to bring this up higher. So let me do something here. Can I can. Okay, let me explain what I just did. Okay, so what I want to do is now I'm like, oh, you know, if somebody told you like, oh man, that tag is too low, it should be up higher. What you would have to do normally is go into this line mode, click on the line, bring it up to the, oop, I forgot to. Okay, I would have to, you know, move this up to the top. So like this, boom, you know, mess with these guys, bring it over. Then I have to pick on my tag, bring it up to the top, you know, do that whole thing, right? But you can actually make this a little bit easier, especially if you have vertices like this. So right now I have it aligned at the correct place, right? If I go into edit mode, you can see the point is there. But what if I could parent something to a vertice itself? And you can. So let me bring this guy a little closer here. There it is. So it's in, we got it. And what I want to do is I want to parent this guy to the vertice of this rope. So when I move this, the tag moves with it. That would be great. So to do that, you have to go to object mode, select your tag, then select the line or the thing that you want to parent to. Then hit edit mode. Now you're in edit mode for both. You're going to select the point, which is right here, and do Control P, and it says make vertex parent. So this appears when you're in edit mode, right? So this appears when you're in edit mode, in vertice mode, make vertex parent. Boom, right? So now you can see that it is parented on there, but it's parented in a way that it's only parented to that particular vertice. And see, now when I move this, it moves the tag with it, and it stays relatively safe. Look at that. Look at that trick. Now I can, do this correctly. I'll scale this down. I'll move this up, move it out. I can go back to this, rotate it in a way that makes sense. Damn, that's awesome. I always forgot about vertex parenting. I always forget about it too, because I usually never use it. But this is an excellent reason to use it. Look at that. This stream is jam-packed. All right, let's go back to our front view and let's figure out how to make this look good. I'd probably try to do something with the hooks, but this is much simpler. Yeah, hooks are good too. I like hooks. I always want to use hooks with like simulations and stuff because I think it could save up a lot of time. All right, so it looks like it needs to be slightly shorter. Maybe this needs to be slightly smaller. Let's go here. Let's bring this guy up. All right, let's go back into this mode. We'll bring it up. All right, and then everything else is just finagling a little bit here. All right, cool. Now I can go into our lattice, and whenever I want to, I don't know, make it look cool, because this looks like it does have some wigglies into it. So let's wiggle it. I'm gonna select the lattice, bring it up a little bit, like this. Maybe squish it in a little bit here. Maybe bring it up. There we go. Just takes away a little bit of the oh, I forgot to put my screencast keys. There it is. Just gives it some variation on it, and it looks pretty cool there. Neat. I think we're here. I think we have made it. All right. So now I definitely would like to spend this stream not to be 4 hours. Luckily, I did a bottle today, and the bottle looks pretty dandy. Doesn't look exactly like it, but it's close enough. I want to parent everything to this bottle. Or actually, I'm going to make an empty in the middle. So let me center my 3D cursor by hitting Shift C. We'll do an empty, and instead of doing a plain axis empty, let's have some fun. Let's do a sphere. So there's our sphere, and we're gonna do bottle. Call it bottle control. Boom, and we're gonna parent everything to the bottle control. There it is. Now we got the bottle. Can control it. It has this nice little empty that you can click outside of it. Everybody's always doing those plain axes, but what if you did it? What if you had some fun? What if you enjoyed your life? What if you didn't let those tutorials take your joy away? All right, so there it is. Everything's parented. Everything seems to still work. Let me make sure. Oh, but this isn't parented to this anymore. See, I checked. So let's see if we can parent it again. Control P. There it is. Okay, back to normal. For some reason that unparented it. All right, we got the little knot. We got the thing. We got our bottle. Now we can start shading. So let's bring up our shader editor, which is already here. I'm going to click on this bottle, and it looks like we have one material, and what we're going to do is we're going to hit save, obviously. Always do that. And we're going to go into my asset browser. So the shader I'm going to be using, where is this thing? The shader I'm going to be using is one that I made, Toon Shader. You can download it in the description. It is free. For free. You guys are my super premium platinum plus members of the YouTube Watcher Subscribers Club. So you can download this Toon Shader for free. Still needs a lot of work, but it does a lot of stuff that I like. And I already have ideas to keep going and improving it. So I'm going to just drag and drop the Toon Shader onto the bottle. There it is. And we're just going to name everything. So we got bottle. We're going to add in the Toon Shader to the cork. It's called bottle. We'll click on this little button here, new material. We'll call this cork. And we can start going one by one. We'll click on the line here. We'll go to cork or bottle. We'll call this twine. And then the last thing is the tag. So we'll put in cork, duplicate it, tag. Boom. Okay, so now we're back. Everything's here. Let me put this into our rendered mode here. And this is what it looks like so far. Let me put it into rendered mode here. This is what it looks like without doing anything, which is pretty interesting, if I do say so myself. Nice little blue gradient in the background there. This definitely has a weird pink tag on it, but we're gonna be playing with each and every one of these pieces. So let's fix it and let's try and get it close to what this looks like here. Okay, and once again, it's not gonna be super close, but we're gonna get it close. All right, so go into your shader editor. Boom. Instead of world, go to object. Boom. Here's the shader. I'm gonna disable or hide, I should say, the tag, the twine, and the cork by selecting them and hitting H. So we're only focusing on what we need to focus on. So there it is. We got our bottle. It's looking kind of interesting. But we want to start making it look like it. So first thing I would do is in the shader, I have the gradient usually on. I would take this off real quick. Take off the Fresnel. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing here. Hold on. You're not even seeing a difference. You can see how the gradient kind of adds in a nice like cast of color on it. We're going to take that off for right now. And we're going to take off the Fresnel for now. And you can see the Fresnel. You can barely see the Fresnel. But the Fresnel just happens on the outside. If I make it black, you'll be able to see it. There it is. You can see that because it's a round shape, it's looking cool. Right now it's a little chunky. You can always fix that by adding more definition on the subsurface right there. There it is. Looking interesting. Anyway, take off the Fresnel. We're just going to be working with what it looks like for right now. You can obviously see this Toon Shader is affected by the lights. So this is the sun. It doesn't matter how far it is. It's in the sky. But if you make the sun brighter, that highlight will get bigger and bigger. So first thing I'm going to do is, it looks like this highlight here is, I don't know, pretty decent size, and the one here is not. Right? So let's make it bigger. Maybe like that big. That's good. Okay. And it looks like the sun is coming from the front right and a little bit of the front left. So mostly front. So I'm gonna go into the above view. I'm gonna put the sun where I think it is. It doesn't matter where it is. You have to rotate it. So I'm gonna rotate it. I need to learn how to remap normals from high-res models to low-res models in the future. Yes. Doing that is really good, but doing that is also like boring. It's like the paperwork of 3D modeling. You're like, all right, they literally hire people to do that, like model cleanup and all that stuff, because it's so annoying sometimes. Like retopologizing is like a whole thing. Because I'm pretty sure you can achieve these smooth lines on low res. Yes, you 100% can. But yeah, you absolutely can. It just takes It just takes a bit of work, and it's definitely useful for big projects when you need like a lot of stuff. Okay, let's start picking these colors. But pretty necessary for animation. Absolutely. If you're doing an animation, I'm all about this optimization. It's necessary. All right, I'm going to pick some of these colors just to see what it looks like. Because we're going to be adding some different stuff here. Let's pick these greens. Maybe like a darker green. And then the darkest green. Okay. Look, it looks just like it. I'm just kidding, obviously. Cool. So there's one thing I want to do, right? Is this has to be like clear glass. So let's get the glass part going. There's a couple of ways to do this. And I think I already solved this. So what I'm going to do, I have a project that I used, that I did before. The last stream, it's the diamond ring. I'm going to append that gem material on here, and then we're going to break it down so you'll know what's happening. So let me go to my stream ring. Projects, ring, materials. Alright, and we got 2 gems. Let's put them both in here. I'm going to open up a... I'm going to make a new object so we can look at this thing. And for funsies, we'll do a diamond gem. We'll do a straight up gem up in here. So there's our gem. And let's look at this material. It literally didn't change. What happened here? There it is. There's our gem. That's gem 1 and then gem 2. Gem 2 looks like it's actually see-through. So gem 2 looks like it has a glass and an add shader, and that's all we're doing. So I'm going to just take that. Glass, add, control copy, go here. Let's add it in. Let's see what this looks like straight off. We'll add the shader there. We'll add it here. All right, can't see through it. You gotta put go to the materials, go to settings, go to alpha blend. we can kind of see through it now, kinda. I'm gonna put no shadow mode, so it doesn't make shadows on the inside. All right, it's definitely looking weird. I'll tell you that. So let's see if we can do some more here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put something inside of it so I can tell when we can see through it. So let's put the monkey in here. Cannot see it. We can kind of see the monkey in there. Alright. Let's do the second gem. Let's go to this gem. Or the first gem. Let's see what this looks like. I have a refraction. And we may do this a little differently. I just wanted to see what I did last time. So instead of using glass, I use refraction instead. Alpha blend, none, yep. Screen space reflections, okay. Alright, so we'll just copy this, bring it over. Make sure our screen space reflections are on here. Yeah, Toon Glass is hard, for sure. But we'll figure out something that looks okay. Screen space reflections, okay. So here's refractions. Because, yeah, you can spend hours and hours and hours doing this. But, you know, you just got to plow through, man. Sometimes you got to get that deadline in, and it just has to be done. All right, so let's put the refraction in. Can't see the monkey. Oh, my. I have to save. My blender keeps on stuttering. Alright, let me save. Alright, you can even see it in there, making a shadow as well. We'll take off. Oh, cool. And let's see if there's any difference between adding the solidify on the bottle. Cool. There could be something here. I just need to figure out some stuff here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure this out. Let's try doing let's add more stuff, right? Let's go back to glass real quick. What's interesting about glass is the roughness. You can really add in some nice little highlights on there. All right. What's wrong here for me is just the weird like square stuff that happens, right? Like that's not good. All right, so this is where all the time is going to be spent. Is figuring out a solution here. The diamond in the previous stream worked out well, but I forgot why. I'm changing some settings here. It's cool that I can see the monkey in the inside. And for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate. Nope, not duplicate. Let's just set all this to the same color. And maybe the highlight just be like white, just so we can see what's happening. Okay. So everything's one color. We got some weirdness going on. Here we go. There we go. At least you can see through and see the monkey. Looks interesting. But we need something here. Let's see. Let me do a couple things here. Let me do a texture coordinate. So input texture coordinate. I'm going to select vertex normal. We're going to select the normal here. And we're going to put it in here. Onto the glass. I want to see if this changes anything as I mess around with the normals of the glass. Alright, this is pretty interesting because I can control where the glass is going. I just wish I could figure out that weird square issue. Let's do generated. We may stumble onto something. And let's do reflection. I'm still wondering some stuff here. You know, like, what are these squares? Can we figure it out? All right, this is where all the train here, the groovy train, comes to a screeching halt. We were grooving for so long. And then a couple other things. Why isn't this smooth? All right. I'm adding a transparency. We're going to play with that now. Transparent. I like using the add because it keeps a lot of the stuff. And I never use add, and I like to see the different effects that it uses. Usually I use mix, but like, it's trying to be realistic. We're not trying to be realistic here. Okay. Okay, this is interesting. Let's see if we can... Okay, what's cool is that it makes it transparent. Still a couple of issues here. Couple issues. What if I took off the normals? We left it as is. Okay, cool. We're getting there. This has kind of what I'm looking for. Kind of. Let's see if this... let's see if any of this changes. Multi-scatter GGX. Let's see how different it is. It is different. So what I'm looking at here is how the inside is a different color than this outside. It has a little bit of a gradient. I just need to be able to control this on the outside. So that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Right now it just goes from transparent to not. And it could be even something as easy as like this should go first. And then this should go second. Type of situation. Sometimes that works. I think adding, I actually don't think it's gonna make a difference. But let's just see to make sure. Yeah, it doesn't really make a difference. But we're getting closer with this setup. Let me put it how it was. Let me try instead of translucent, transparent, because I don't know what the difference is. So let's see. Looks like translucent has a normal. Okay, this is interesting. Look, you can see the shadow of Suzanne in there. That's a weird thing. It's only really adding this side going on, which could be useful. And if we put in this to, we're adding in the normals. Maybe we can do something fun here. Okay, that's interesting. Definitely mess with this. This has some utility. Can I put a color into this? I can. Very neat. Okay. Alright, so we're going to put this at the brightest. Okay, we're getting there. We have an add. I guess translucent works. And because we have the normals onto the reflection, let me just try a couple other things I'm saving. Let me put the normals onto the normal. See, you gotta wait. Sometimes. So Yeah, definitely putting the dot. That's the better one. Dot. That's going to come back. And I'm going to try a couple different things with this dot normal here. But I like the look. All right, and let's do generated. Generated. But I think reflection's where it's at. Okay, this just kind of adds it wherever. If I did normals. Interesting. And then object should be like generated. If not, we're going to do reflective. We're going to keep on trucking because we're a step closer. So yeah, reflective. Great. So there it is. We're getting a little closer here. And I wonder if... Because yeah, transparent doesn't have... a normal. Could we do this? Could we add the dot here, add it to transparent, and actually see through it? Because right now we can't see through it. We lost that ability once we got this. So let's see if we can move forward. Okay, we can see through it, most definitely. It's just acting hella weird, which is kind of interesting. Let's do some controlling here. So what's happening is transparent goes from transparent from white to dark. This is giving it a normal, and it's hella weird. So let's add in a color ramp, put that in between, and we can start messing with some colors here. If not, we're gonna go right back to transparent and keep on trucking. Okay, we're gonna flip these. All right, this is interesting. We're gonna make this white instead of white, a grayer color. I mean, I guess it's making it invisible on the back. Because we made these both white. It'd be completely transparent. So that means... Oh man, see how much of a process this is? Okay, cool. We're gonna keep this transparency because this works for now. We're getting closer though. Alright, if I change these colors back, would they look good? Alright. At least we can see through it. All right. Okay. Sorry, gotta go. Stuff to do. Also, some visitors came. So see ya in the next one. Jiraj, thanks for hanging out. Have fun with your visitors. and have a great day. Great week, man. All right. So we're getting a little closer. The bottle's almost there. Almost. This is still killing me over here. So I'm gonna make a second light. Make it much brighter, like 1,000. Nope. 100. I'm going to bring the light around the back. All right. Actually, no. We'll just keep the one light, the sun hitting coming down. Let's see if the modifier, changing the modifier does anything. It does not. And let's see if we turn on show back face. See, if you show back face, this is like a weird mess. What is happening, you know? All right. At least we got this part going. Could we make a second one and make it bigger? Smaller? Make it more transparent? Alright, I think we're getting somewhere by like having 2 bottles. So we may do that. Obviously it looks ugly right now, but we're gonna fix that. So let's go back before we duplicated the bottle. Instead of an add shader, let's make this a mix shader. Maybe add is a little too much here. See, this is why I don't like to use add. Because it definitely makes it like lose its vibrancy. Alright, so we're going to do an add shader again. Let's do one more add. Let's see if adding in another glass helps this at all. Sounds crazy enough to work. Interesting. Instead of glass, let's do glossy. And we're just playing around here. Adding in some different shaders. This is how you play with it. I like this. It's just adding some gloss. You can even change kind of like the light color. It's kind of fun. All right, let's change this to refraction. This is interesting because it's really refracting whatever's in there, huh? Like super stretches it out. Interesting effect. All right, so then there's a couple of last things I need to figure out or test out, and then we're just gonna have to start making decisions and start calling it because it's taking too long. So let's go back into our toon shader. There's a principal shader. Let's make this into a metallic. Hopefully it doesn't crash the computer. Alright, so metallic ain't doing much for us. Let's add in a clear coat. And then we're gonna do transmission and alpha even. See what any of this stuff does. Sometimes I don't even know. Here's a specular. Clear coat. Very interesting what transmission does. Leave that off. Alpha doesn't do what I thought it was going to do. Alright, I think we're going to have to start calling it. So we can move on. Alright, there's one last thing. Let me add in a different material here. Put it as a material. And change it so that in the solidify, the material that it uses is the second one. Okay, okay. That's kind of interesting. So let's go to that material that we made. Can't tell what's happening, but you'll see soon. Alright, I'm going to take off this out the material. Let me do an emissions. What a complicated. Let's do transparent. What if you change the insides normal so you get two faces instead of another bottle inside? Was there a way to make the face double-sided in Blender? I don't recall. Christ, what is it? Christoval? Christoval. Thank you for that. Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I didn't double up the bottle. There's only one bottle here. What I'm doing is I'm using the solidify modifier. right here, which adds thickness to it. And then inside the solidify modifier, I'm making the solidify part be the second material. So right now the offset is on 1, right? So it has two materials, as the color bottle here, and then the inside of the material. And you can tell that there's an inside of material because when I hit the emissions, the solidify on the inside, you'll see, turns white. So I do have technically two objects that are within each other. And now what I'm doing is, because I feel like I'm getting closer, is making it so the outside bottle has this type of lining, which I will fix soon. It's still a little off. And then the inside has a certain material. And then that's what I'm figuring out now. So yes, very much so. We're almost there. I just need to... There we go. We always have this edge going on, which is what I want. We'll call this bottle inside for you to see. But yes, very good suggestion. Very good thinking. That's exactly the thought process I had. Because we could even... Like, could we make it a glass? Just straight up. Since it's inside, it doesn't reflect anything, so I assume it's super weird in there, right? Alright, let's change this to refraction. And let's change this to translucent. And we're just testing out. And this is what making shaders is. You're just sitting here figuring it out. But since I'm doing it live, it feels like... I think a transparent... I think I almost got it. Transparent with glossy into an add shader. And we'll move from there. Also, thanks for commenting or writing a chat in there. Christ Huval. Maybe just a transparent shade will be fine. Or what if we did like an emissions? I have to call it. Like, you can fiddle around with this all day. So I think this is as close as we're gonna get. My English name is Christopher. Chris, I have been following this stream since the tag Vertex parenting tip. Nice. Well, let me be the first to say thank you for watching. I appreciate you being here and writing in the chat. It really helps me out. Helps me think. So yeah, thank you for being here. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the lightness up. I'm gonna skew it a little bit to the Make it a little darker in here. There we go. And we're gonna have to start calling it here. By calling it, I mean just like moving forward. I can't spend all day fiddling with shaders. All right, so we got these colors going good. Now I can see that I can affect these colors. Let me erase all the stuff that I'm not using here. I'm not using this. We're just using some of this stuff. I'm doing the hard part first, the glass. Toon glass is not easy. Oh, did I mess something up? Okay. Alright, there we go. And now we'll mess with, and I'm looking at the left side here. I'm going to erase this gem. And we have a glass that looks okay. It definitely needs some work, but it's functioning as best it can as glass. So some things I'm going to fix is the toon shader part. Maybe not such a dark green. Maybe it goes off a little lighter. And then I'm going to add in a... what am I going to add? I'm going to add in a gradient from the top to the bottom. You see it turns blue. We're not going to do it all the way blue. We're going to add in a dark green and a light green. So let's add in this dark green here. And let's add in a very light green here. See what that looks like? Looks okay. We can definitely mess around with these colors. Maybe like that. And then mess around with these colors. Something like that. We can lower it down a bit. And then we have like a little gradient going on. We could also try the same colors up here. Oops. There we go. Take this off and bring it from the light source itself. Gives the bottle a little bit more interesting character here. Let's flip the colors. Let's put this one at the top and this one at the bottom. There it is. It's very subtle. It's a gradient that's happening, but it's very, very subtle. Like if we take this off, you know, we could do it this way or we could do it from top to bottom. Top to bottom is interesting. Gives the bottom half. I think top to bottom is what I'm going to go with. It's so subtle. But it does add a little bit to it. Let's see. No, let's see this one. Okay. Alright. There we go. We got a gradient going on. It's looking dandy. Let's add a Fresnel now. So let's turn that on. You can see it has like this black outline. We'll make it, you can see it can encompass it all. Just for funsies, we will not make it that dark. And we will change the Fresnel colors to be like this dark green over here. And maybe a light green. See, just very subtle stuff that's happening. So adding the Fresnel kind of gives it a little bit of more shape there. We can change the IOR to come a little closer. There it is. The only thing I think is unfortunate is the highlight kind of gets lost here. Let me see what's making it get lost. Is it the Fresnel? I can also rotate where the Fresnel's coming from, like the color wise. So we can move it. I'm going to move it so it's at the bottom left. There it is. I'm looking at this left image here. Okay, we're getting closer, getting closer. But yeah, I wish I knew what was making this lose its panaz. Maybe we can add in a toon shader at the end and see what this does. Let's see. This may be crazy. Not what I think it should be doing. Alright, we're gonna not do that. Okay. Alright, I'm just changing a few nodes to figure out why my highlight is not as bright as it should be. Or can be, I should say. So, it's definitely something happening over here. From this pink to the left. This? Let's see. Nope. Huh. Alright. How long have I been streaming? 2 hours. Alright. I need to wrap this up soon. So let me test a couple more things here. To figure out what this can be. Oh, I see what it is. Okay. All right, I see. So what it is this is unfortunate. The inside bottle is taking down my highlights because it's working against it. So let's see if I can help. If I can help that at all. If I can help it in any way, shape, or form. So there's the inside of the bottle. It's our solidify. High quality normals. See, then we got, see, there's our bright highlights on the other side. Damn it. Because the inside is being transparent and we're toning it down. So what we need to do is we need to add the Let's add a glossy. And I think we can bring it back. Maybe. I hope. Alright, so it's almost coming back. The issue is that it's not the same shape. And the reason it's not the same shape is because the toon shader is the one controlling this. So let me copy these guys, bring it in over here. Alright, we may be able to save this. Maybe. Okay, that doesn't look right. And just make these dark. Okay. This may be better with a mix shader. I'm like bracking my head here. We're gonna add a transparent shader. We're gonna add in a toon shader at the top here. We're gonna bring this there. Almost. Alright, so we have the highlight. We're just losing everything else now. Okay, we're almost there, I think. Let's just switch these. Okay, I think we almost got it. All right, and then we'll change this for now. I think Solidify is getting in the way because it adds so much extra focus. No, maybe. Hold on. I think we could do. We can. It's actually the for now that's causing all that focus, and we could tone that back right here. There we go. Okay. It's not exactly what I wanted, but at least you can see the stuff on the inside. It has the highlight, which is what I want. And I could probably soften up this highlight here. Oops. Control copy, bottle inside. Add this texture back here. There it is. And then we can go to the solidify and see how much that's affecting it, but I don't think it's affecting it a lot. There it is. It's definitely not affecting it a lot, just a little bit. It's adding a little bit of this highlight at the top left. You can see it right here. That's good because it's getting some light there. There it is. Okay, good. Okay, I got the highlight to work. Oh my god, that's kind of insane. On the fly, baby. Okay. Oh, did something break? Come on. Okay. Cool. Bottle is looking alright. But if I wanted to mess with things, it's gonna be an issue, but that's okay. I like this little little something something there. There it is. Oh my god, and there's our bottle. Bottle tutorial. Bottle texture. I'm gonna call it 220. I don't want this to be a 4-hour stream. Told myself it won't be 4 hours. We're just gonna call it for the bottle texture. Everything else should be hopefully easier. So let's bring everything back. Okay. So we got our bottle. I'm gonna choose the bottle here. Hit shade smooth. It has 2 different colors, and for now we're on the cork right here. Okay, cool. Let's take off the Fresnel and let's add in some colors here. Let's just pick the colors right off. So it looks like a highlight here is this guy. We're gonna do some of this medium stuff here. I'm gonna do some dark stuff over here. Doesn't look like anything right now, but you'll see. Okay. So it looks like it's segmented because that's how the shader is. We can add in some of this to kind of smooth it out. So that's fine. And let's see if I have a texture that will look decent. Actually, I'm gonna Google right now. Cork texture. See what I get. Alright, so I Googled cork texture and I got onto this website. It looks like 3dtextures.me. I'm just downloading this cork texture and it brought me onto this page, and I will download it and see if it works. I'm only downloading the color. So let's do that. Grease monkey. Okay. Texture is downloaded. Now I'm gonna go into the shader. Go to shader, texture, image, texture, and I'm gonna find it. There's the cork texture, and we're just gonna add it in, see what this looks like. It obviously doesn't look good because the mapping on it, I'm gonna hit Control T on it. It'll add in, it's on the UVs. It doesn't have correct UVs right now. We're just gonna put generated, and if we need to, then we'll mess with the UVs. I think let's mess with the UVs. Let's go into the UV editor, select it all, hit U, and put cylinder. Let's see if, and then change this to cylinder. Ah, that looks a little better. The top doesn't look so hot, I think. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select the face on the top, hit Shift G, click normals. So I selected only the top. Here you can see it here. I'm gonna hit. I'm gonna look at it from the top, hit unwrap, and so I'm only unwrapping the top half. And I'm gonna do project from view, and then see what that looks like. And that looks much better. Okay, so some things I want to fix here are maybe the sizing of the cork texture. There it is. Maybe make it lighter. It looks like it needs to be a little lighter all around. So let's do that. There we go. There we go. So I just downloaded a cork texture, slapped it onto the toon shader, messed with some lights. I just saw the toon shader is your own creation and you offer it for free. Here, have my sub, you kind sir. Thank you, Christoval. I appreciate that a lot. Yes, the toon shader is free. I'm always updating it. There's always stuff I'm doing. These streams, this one and the last two that I did, if you check on there, I'm using the toon shader. So those are different ways I can use the toon shader. I made this toon shader, but I didn't have any examples, so I can assume people didn't know how to use it. So I just been using the toon shader a bunch to try and work it out. If you have any questions, always feel free to ask. I appreciate you watching and subscribing and stuff. Ooh, what's great about this glass shader is I could see the cork through it. That's awesome. This glass shader's working out. Awesome. That makes me really happy. Okay. So slapped on to the texture. We got the toon shader. You could download it in the description for anybody else who's lurking and watching. And I think it looks pretty good. We're gonna save it. And then we're gonna continue on. Alright, we're on the twine now. And the twine will take off the gradient, the Fresnel, and we'll just pick some colors here, and then we will hopefully get close to it and then mess around with it until it looks good. And we're choosing the darker one. There we go. Alright, so this one looks a little lighter, so that's what we'll mess around here with. We'll just mess with the highlight size. And we'll also make the highlight less saturated. More vibrant. There it is. We'll desaturate all this, actually. They're all kind of a little too saturated. Okay, boom. We got the twine pretty much done. See, the glass was the hardest part, man. The glass was brutal. But we got it through in the time constraints. Okay, cool. And then we're gonna add the tag. We're gonna take off the gradient. We're gonna take off the Fresnel. Because I don't think it needs it. It doesn't need anything fancy or special. Okay. And then we are going to just, I think it's all going to be this nice little white color here. just to make sure. It's like a, and we'll do it across. There it is. It looks like the edges are a different color. So I wonder if I should apply the solidify and add the little dark rim, or maybe not. Maybe not. Let's actually we can test it. Let's test it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the tag and the lattice and hit Shift D. So now we have 2. And we're going to disable both of this. The first one. Because we're going to start applying stuff to this first one. So let's apply the solidify modifier. Apply. Yeah, apply. Now I'm going to select the faces on the edges. Actually, no, I'm not going to apply the solidify. We're going to add in a new material. And we're going to call this tag edge. Tag. T-H-E. Tag edge. And we're just going to add in a emissions. And make it black. Actually, I'm going to make it this pink color and then change it really dark. Like that. Alright. So then now in the solidify modifier for this guy, we will make the material the second one. And it makes the whole underside black, but can I do it only the rim? Oh, there it is. Only the rim. There it is. So it added it. I can make it thicker, thinner, but it being really thin kind of gives it that nice look. And then the emissions, if we bring it up, it could just be a slightly darker pink. It doesn't have to be. If we look at it real close, it could just be darker pink. Gives it a good look. It works out. I love it. It worked out. You love it when it works out easy. There it is. Okay. Great. So there we go. Solidify. We got the tag going on. I would draw on that, but maybe I'll use the grease pencil for that. We got the bottle. Okay, so the last thing we need to finish for this thing is the inside. The inside. So the inside of this looks like it has some goopy goop, which is pretty cool. And the way I'm going to make this is with a little bit of modeling. So what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this bottle. So in object mode duplicate, we have 2 now, but right click so it stays in the same place. We're going to call this bottle, let's say liquid. And we're going to make our first bottle invisible. So nothing has really changed. But now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the make everything else invisible. So we're just working with this. Where's this tag? There it is in this tag. Okay. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply everything on here. So let's convert to mesh. That applies everything the way that it's supposed to. And let's extract the outside skin. I may have to go back on this actually. Let me see if... Alright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select let me make this not... Sorry you can see this. Oh, it's because it's see-through. I'm going to go to the solid view. I'm going to select the loop cut here. and delete the faces, and then select the inside. There it is. Now I have only the inside selected. I'm going to hit Control I. It inverts it. Select the faces. So now I have only the inside stuff here. Alright, now something I'm going to fix is some of this stuff here. Let me zoom in on it. Alright, so I'm going to fix... Oh, that's all connected. Okay. Looks like I have like a double solidify in here. Let's see. I'm going to select this outside loop here. And hit Control plus. And that is just select everything that I need to. There it is. I'm going to erase the faces. There it is. Alright. There it is. Okay, I could have just done that easier by just deleting the top. I'm going to delete all the way to about the same point that this this bottle is at. So let's erase all the way up to there. Maybe up to here. Delete faces. Alright, so now we have the inside here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the edge in edge mode. And I'm going to hit Control F and do a grid fill. Now we got a grid. And what I'm going to do is I'm also going to hit, I think, Control G. I'm going to assign a vertex to a new group. So what that does is it's adding in this selection, right? So if I deselect this and I hit select, just selects that face. Just so I don't have to like reselect that ever again, because sometimes I hate doing that. Okay. And I'm also going to... No, I guess that's it. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to see if I could do this a couple of different ways. So I could go to Modifier, go to Displace, and under Vertex Group, pick that group just so we know what this is. We're going to type it in. Top liquid. And you'll see that that looks the same in here. Top liquid. Anyway, we'll add in a texture. And we will put in clouds. And see how that's affecting it. Obviously ridiculous. So let's make it... There it is. So what I don't like about this is that it goes out of its designated spot, right? So if we look at it, it goes outwards here. I think we can restrict this only to the Z-axis. There it is. And we can control how strong it is and stuff. There it is. Alright, and this is how we're going to do it. There may be something we need to fix with some weights here. But for right now, this is working out pretty well. We can even soften it up. Look at that. Like that. Some issues are arising here, like this half here. I think we can put the mid-level up. There it is. And that'll help with that issue. Okay, so let's bring everything back and see how this looks. And cross your fingers. It doesn't look good. Alright, so looking at this, looks like it's obviously the same color, blah, blah, blah. And it has some issues here where it's sticking out. We could fix all that, but what I want to fix first is this material for the liquid. I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to take off the second material, bottle inside, and I'm going to click on this little button here so it duplicates it, and then we'll do bottle liquid so we don't mess with the bottle material. Let's mess with some colors here. I think what we need to do, and I may be wrong, is make everything black here. Nope, not true. Let's undo that. Let's just stick it only the toon shader. Oh no, this is gonna cause me a whole nother issue, isn't it? Alright, let me... It has no shader now. We can't see it. What Blender version are you using? I'm using 3.10. Let's see. Right here. 3.10 or 3.1.0. Alright, so already an issue where I could see through it, but just barely. And I wonder if I can do anything about that. So let's bring this down. And is there anything we can do here? Can we add an emissions and make it something ridiculous? Alright. We can make it dark. Alright, so basically what we need to figure out, so we're getting close. You can see the liquid in there. Is the bottle. Okay, because I saw the toon shader overlay bright overburnt, but it was because it was not in rendered view. Oh yes, it was it was that. Okay, so let me just check a couple things here. So what's definitely happening is the transparent shader kind of has to be on here to be able to see it in there. Right? So can we do something about that? I don't think so. I think we're going to have to deal with what it looks like now because I don't want to mess with it anymore because the stream's getting a little long. But let me see if I could do a couple of tricks here. What if I do a converter color ramp? We'll hit Control T on this. Erase this middle one. We'll hit some reflections here. Put it into the color ramp. So basically a texture coordinate, a color ramp into the transparent shader. See what this looks like real quick. Obviously doesn't make any sense. Let's flip this. Let's put a normal in between. So vector normal. That's gonna do something. I don't think it's gonna look good. We're gonna do dot. I just want to see what this one looks like. Let's do dot. Alright, we're just gonna have to deal. There's some more solutions that need to be done, but I do not want to do them. So what we're gonna do is we'll get the liquid, we'll connect, and we'll put a color in it, like this yellow color, and then we'll slowly bring it down. I'll bring it up, and then we'll slowly make it darker. We'll just make it black. We're gonna erase Suzanne from the middle now that we have our liquid. You know, you can do something crazy. Put bloom on here. Put the liquid. Make it a color. Like, whatever color. Green. Make it super bright. This glows like a real cartoon shader here. But we're not gonna do that. We're gonna just make it dark. And then in the liquid bottle, we still have our, you know, our stuff here. This doesn't have to be anything crazy. I wonder if I could add a gradient to this. Let's add a gradient to it. Maybe it doesn't have to be this way. I'm gonna add in one second. What if I added it, the toon shader onto this? Uh-oh, I should have saved. Oh, forgot to hit shade smooth. There it is. Interesting what I can do here. I can change these colors. Doesn't really do much. Let's see. Actually, it adds a little character in there. Let's see if we... There it is. That's interesting. And let's take off something here. Backface culling. No shadows. Come on, come on, come on. Alright, opaque. Alright, let me go back. Make sure it has the same colors. And just take off backface culling. Take off shadows. And just make everything darker. So I'm going to add in a color here. Hue saturation. Color hue saturation. Just bring down the value of everything to see if this helps. Maybe even change the color of it too. Alright, we rotate this to the side. Oopsies. I guess having it a different color works out. Let's take away these gradients. Could you set the negative value in the material so that it sucks the light out of the scene? No, no, no. Because the issue is it's not. You could in other instances. In this particular instance, the issue is all this complex glass shader I have, this toon glass shader, is affecting what it's looking like in there. Normally I could sit here and solve it, but it's gonna take me a while to solve that, and I think it's pretty good as it is right now. It's very subtle. So for right now, we're just gonna call it there. It looks pretty cool without it, but we're gonna call it there. And then now figure out if this bottle has too much highlight on it. There it is. What's weird is this bottom half being blue. I think because that's the liquid here. Yes, it is. So let's isolate this real quick. Go into solid view. And I'm going to hit 3. Oh no, 2, so I can get line mode. And then I'm going to do select, loop inner region. There we go. And erase these faces. There it is. We're good. We're back in action. Oh, but you can still see whatever this is here. So let me select them all. And then faces there. Oh, you can still see it. Oh man, you can barely see it. There it is. Okay. Okay, and now, oh my god. I think I'm gonna finish in very soon. This is good. It's not a 4-hour stream. Okay, so I got the bottle. There's obviously some more stuff we could do to it, like let's see if we could add one more thing. Just one more thing. Let's add in a texture, image texture, and we're gonna add this right to the color here. I have some textures here. Let's see what I have. It's not a lot. So I got a leather texture. Let's see what this leather texture looks like on the bottle. I know that sounds silly, but sometimes it could work. Alright. Doesn't look great, but it's not terrible. You know, especially if what we need to do though is flip this around. So let's go to color invert. You know, you can add some neat bottle effects here. Obviously the other's not working for us here. And it's because of the UVs we got going on. But we could definitely add some interesting effects here, especially if we stretch these out. Let's try reflection. See what that looks like. You know, it adds in a little stuff there. Let's actually add in a color ramp so we can really control what this texture's doing. Oh my god, come on. It looks really good clean though. I might leave it clean for the final render. I'm just curious what happens when we mess with this. Like very subtle, right? Like super like it's dirty. All right, let's fix the issue of the stretching, right? I'm gonna select the bottle. I'm gonna hit U, and I'm gonna do cylindrical projection, and now I'm gonna go to UVs. This should fix it. I hope. There it is. This fixes a little better. All right, so there's our bottle, and it's being affected by this texture we got going on here, which is pretty cool. And we can just put it as subtly here. So it looks like a dirty bottle. There it is. Looking pretty sweet. We rotate it. Oh yeah, is it on UV? Okay, great. And there it is, super light texture. I'm using some leather texture and stuff. Makes the bottle look a little dirty. We could definitely tone down the sun a little bit. So it just barely gets the highlight. There it is. Good stuff. There's a couple things I want to fix here. Last things I'm going to fix. So we have the bottle. And I forgot that these are connected. So let me click the bottle. Bottle inside. Okay. Very subtle. We got some texture going on. I wish it was more see-through. I wish I had more time. That's my biggest thing. I just wish I had more time, but I don't. So we're getting pretty close. Not pretty close. We're pretty much done. We're gonna write something on this tag here. All right. So let me isolate it, and let me look into this mode here. There we go. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into. I'm gonna hit cursor to selected, so it selects there. I'm gonna put in an empty grease pencil, blank. I'm also gonna parent it to the bottle. Keep transforms. Now I'm gonna go to draw mode. And with my pencil, I'm gonna put the origin to surface. I'm gonna put in the ink pen. I'm gonna make it a red color, so I'm gonna choose this red color. I can always do it up later. It's so far away, so make sure I put the surface down to 0.01. There you go, it's on it. Very good. I'm also going to make it sure that the layer is not affected by lights, so when it goes on there, it's nice and bright. Alright, and then for this portion, I'm going to connect my tablet, just so I can sign off on this. I don't know what it says there. Gravity Rush 2, this is from the Gravity Rush 2 game, and they made up their own language for that entire game. So the language that you hear when they're speaking isn't a real language. I think that's pretty cool. Pretty cool thing to do. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, my tablet's connected. god, what's happening here? I'm gonna draw this. I'm gonna go to erase. I just need this to do by stroke, so I can just erase by stroke. There we go. Okay. Let's add in a stabilize here. So my handwriting is better. Alright, let's do the same thing, right? Let's make the radius smaller. Maybe bigger. Not really looking at it, I just know it's a bunch of this, right? There we go. Also, we'll make some thinner ones. It looks like there's, like they scribbled it on there. There we go. All right. And now we will write the letters G and M for Greece. And since there's a gap here, I'll make a heart. There we go. I think this needs to be a little wider or a little bigger. So I'll make it a little bigger. There we go. All right, looks good. I'm done. I'm gonna unplug my tablet. Take a final gander. There we go. And let's bring back the camera. All right. Oh no. That grease pencil's acting hella weird. Why? Should the grease pencil be attached to the tag? Where is the tag? Hold on. Maybe it should be attached to the tag. So we're putting on the grease pencil to the tag, and hopefully that'll make it work. Oh, what's interesting is the tag. This is so interesting. The tag is actually staying so it faces the front. That's pretty funny. And I think that's just because of the parenting we have. That's so crazy. Look at that. That tag is always going to face the same way. So what we're going to do is we're going to click the tag, and we're going to hit Alt-P and keep transformations. And that should fix that. Now when we move this, oh no. We'll parent it back to the empty. Now it should be good. There we go. All right. And then one last thing we can do. Let me rotate this. Like this. There you go. One last thing we could do is we can add in a line art modifier to certain objects. So I'm gonna make a couple of them. So let me make a grease pencil object. I have the bottle selected. I'm gonna click grease pencil object line art, and that'll make a line art around the bottle. So that's right here. And if this rotates, let's rotate with it. It does. So I'm going to save it because it's pretty intensive, because it always crashes on me. All right. I'm going to name the line art. It's going to be called line art, obviously. And we're going to name it bottle. And then in this line art, we're going to control some stuff here. Let's go to the modifier. Take off everything but the contours, because that's all I care about. Cool. There it is. Let's add it to the cork as well. I'm going to make a separate one. Line art from object. Do the same thing. Take all these off. Contours. For this one, the material is black. .001. That's the same thing we'll do here. Black.001. There it is. Then we'll do it for this twine. So Shift A, grease pencil, object to line art. We'll set it to 1. And we will do the same thing here. Oh, this has to be to 1. And this one has to be to 1. There we go. So this one's called bottle. This one should be called cork. And this one's going to be called twine. And make sure that this is all set correctly. There we go. And for this twine, I'm actually going to make it a little smaller. So in the modifier, for the line art twine, we're going to go to style, bring this down to 10. Maybe not 10. Maybe like 15. And then I'll do the same. The last one will be this one. So Shift A, grease pencil, object from line art, tag. This one will make extra small, but we'll put this only to the black one. This will go to black one. Take off this stuff. There we go. And now when we mess with this color here for the one, you can see that the whole outline changes and it causes a pretty neat effect. I'm just going to make it a dark version of this purple. Can't see it right now, but if we make it darker, you see that it's a nice and light. There it is. So it could look good with, and I'm going to put all this into one line art collection. Line art. Hit save. And you can see that it could look good. Let's see. All right. So that's with and without. And I think I like it without, but you know, with it looks pretty decent. So there we go. And I think that's it. I think that's it for the stream. For everybody who joined me, thank you for joining me. DB or Dbond. Thank you for asking and typing, and Christoval, thank you for being here. Jiraj left, but I appreciate him being here. Ferd, if you're still here, have a great day. I hope everybody watching learned something, learned some tricks, learned some tips here. You can download the tune shader that I used here in the description. It's on my Gumroad. It's free. This is pretty much it. It looks good. We made a glass shader out of the tune shader with some glass and all that stuff, so it ended up looking pretty good. You can even see through it, which is pretty awesome. It has like this double reflection thing I like going on, like it's like a super thick bottle. We have the colors set correctly, and I love it. I love it. It's good. Dbon, thank you for being here. It was a journey to do this, but we did it. We made the bottle. It looks decent. And I hope everybody has a great day and great night. Take care. Have a good week. I'm going to be streaming again on Thursday. So 2 days from now, Thursday is when I'll be streaming again. So have a great day, everyone. Goodbye.